Okay. Well, welcome everyone, whether you are in the green room or whatever you want to call it now, or if you're or watching it live now, or if you're watching it later on after it's been recorded. We are so glad you are here. Did I say this is Morgan Blythe, my co-host?
Yes. So hi, I'm Morgan,
You
and
said that. Okay,
this is
I said
Ellen.
it.
No,
And
you
I'm
didn't. No, you didn't. You're fine.
oh, okay, okay. And so this whole podcast is about what's happening to our kids with this transgender issue that has taken hold. And I invited Alexandra Lyashchenko to be with us tonight, and she's here. And just to say a word about her, and then I also want to show you some of her artwork. But she and her husband and their young daughter left Ukraine in search of the American dream and freedom. What they found instead was that they had been subsumed into an American nightmare. Their daughter had trouble adjusting to life in the US, to the schools here, and in addition had mental health problems. She announced that she was trans. Alexandra and her husband would not affirm their daughter's new trans identity. So one night, 8 cop cars showed up at their house in California. They took her daughter and put her in what they called an affirming foster home, where the young girl, only 15 years old, had to share a room with a teenage boy. The Lyashchenkos have not seen their daughter in almost 2 years. They filed a lawsuit in federal court, but have not had good luck finding good legal representation. And I do want to show you some of Alexandra's artwork because it's beautiful and it's very let's see, how do I do that? Here we go. Here's one. Can we clear the stage or make room for there we go. Okay, and if you have anything to say about it, Alexandra, please do. They're all beautiful. I think they all have something to do with your ordeal. I love this one with the dice. It says to me something about, it's a throw of the dice. I don't know if that's what you intend, but that's what it says to me, that these happens as though somebody threw some dice. And it also looks like barbed wire there and maybe a baby in a womb. This one very much looks to me like a mother and child. And I think maybe did I already show that? It's got some writing on it that I can't read. But at any rate, that's one of the ways Alexandra copes, I think. So let's see, we've got some comments. Extra little says hello. I guess that's, yeah, at any rate. Okay, Alexandra, do you want to?
Yeah. So we want, I guess, just open up the floor to you. We're very pleased to have you on the show, but it's an unfortunate circumstance what has happened to you and your family. So we want to just kind of start off by you telling your story. You don't have to go super far back, but maybe just, I had heard like on the previous kind of was looking into you and stuff that your daughter, she was bullied in Massachusetts. Maybe we can start there, and then the ball will roll as the story goes along.
Thank you, my dear ladies. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Morgan. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. on EST. It's dark. My little son is just making the most of his daddy's availability when mommy is just shouting out loud, bleeding with pain and soaking with pain. And it's just, especially with the latest California adopted laws, I don't know if you saw it, it's not looking good.
What was it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe you can read.
Other people won't know.
some laws they passed that actually they can bill insurance to do the transgender mutilation surgeries in California, and now the parents don't pretty much don't need the consent. Something we've been fighting for this horrible, infernal 2 years. It's May. It was filed in May. So I think I reposted it. I'll share, but it's all over now. It's all over California, so you'll be able to see it. I think it just was on. I just copied from some influencers in California. So, but nevertheless, yeah, 2 legal immigrants coming from a post-Soviet country, post-USSR, 70 years of propaganda, punitive psychiatry, people snatched by KGB at night, luckily not children, but they were enemies of the people. Now we are enemies of the people, So.
You mean in California?
Yeah.
Or in Ukraine? Yeah, okay.
No, in Ukraine, yeah, we helped Ukraine. We definitely immediately started helping, So, okay, we migrated in 2007, which is basically 19 years ago, like Elon Musk did, H-1B visa, legal, pay taxes from day one, 2 bags of books, clothes, $200 or something, and hopes of brighter future, and maybe there is some place for us. Maybe we can just provide the good home, the American Ukrainian dream or something. I'm using this opportunity to kind of promote and just share my Substack, where I basically share everything, like everything. It's like my bleeding diary, and I just have 2 unpublished chapters, and I'm finishing. It's just, it goes as events develop. For instance, today RFK, it was on, right? The over prescription of SSRIs, and it's something that we've been suffering. So I go ahead and start writing about what our daughter went through in Massachusetts, and right now, the psychiatrist who filed against us. So it's unpublished. So
yeah, I think we didn't mention that before you went to California, you were in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And there was a reason why you left Massachusetts and felt like you should go to California.
So we migrated in 2007. We were not politically colored, neither blue or red, nothing, just 2 people that wanted to live basically their life. My husband is a master's in IT and engineering, software developer. I am master's and undefended dissertation, PhD in translation and linguistics, pretty much not like really, cognitive disabled people or something. So we just wanted to build our nest. We gave birth to this pretty blonde girl with big blue eyes, long legs. Somebody could think that I really forecast like a model of a career of a model, really pretty girl. And she was never even a tomboy. She was not a girly girl, and I am not either, but just vivacious, active, happy-go-lucky girl that was basically penalized for being an inconvenient student for this. And instead of just addressing this in Boston area, Maynard and Acton, Massachusetts, that's where we landed, and where we never abandoned her, where we never denied any kind of care. She had everything. And I am this liberal mom and helicopter mom, like in just a good meaning. Like I honored and respected her privacy, her needs, her everything. And she was bullied, and instead of just addressing that ADHD, something we did not know in Soviet Union and in post-Soviet Ukraine, know these alphabetic things, it would be like sensible to address these things and say, hey, parents, let's get her tested. And there were so many privileged SPED kids that already probably went, like teachers' kids or something. And I'm just wondering why. Why did they have to punish and artificially make her like, behavioral problematic instead of just say, let's just test her? And so we never abandoned her. We immediately pulled her out. I was pregnant at that time. So they kicked her out in the hallways. They kicked her out too in the vice principal's office. They gave me this call that still bring me, jitters to look at my phone, like, oh, she's so bad. Oh, she's so disruptive. Oh, she is so rude and disrespectful. But then the second, that was openly cold and aggressive the first year. And then second year, second grade, her teacher was intricately saying, oh, she's such a smart girl. She's so good. And you end up like wondering if you are a moron or they just mafia. So, but when it was really even unsafe to send her to that school, they already openly just started like bullying, harassing. They set entire school district of Maynard, Massachusetts against us. And again, I am using this chance to promote my Substack. It's called Ukrainian Mother's Fight for Her Daughter. And I write every single chapter, like in a tree or like hierarchy. There's this cahoots, school, like every state. So it's very logical and adequately placed. And it's very well.
Tell me again the name of it, and I'll create a banner and we can put it on the screen. And then we'll put it in the show notes after.
Yeah, Ukrainian Mother's Fight for Her Daughter. And I can also, I just sent it to you via email. So I just shared it with you, Ellen, on your.
And I'll put it in the show notes after. But for now,
yeah,
that's your Substack.
Yeah. So she, like a young girl, onset of puberty, and it's 10 years. Her little brother, is coming into this life. The entire district, sets everybody against us because we dared, to stand up against the like the privileged. So basically they forced us out. It wasn't an easy time. I lost my parents in Ukraine, and I had a property to take care of, and it's not easy to even rent for peanuts. It's not easy to rent your property being, remote. Yeah. So people would, like misuse, abuse my, conscious generosity. So I just basically had to sell it, and then war came. So we were forced out of Massachusetts. At some point, she got so manipulative. Her traumas started, looking like some disorders that, and I'm just writing, like as we speak, I'm just writing about it in a like SSRI chapter. That basically the school, another school district that we fled to because Randy Weingarten, teachers, trade unions, and no school choice. We had to flee from one district to another. We were even stalked, followed by police, and DCF was like regular caller, but they were wiser. So they like, let's clear this up. What happened? Why she is so manipulative? Why she is so aggressive? Why she is just banging her fist? Why? Lots of whys. So at some point, she got even homicidal and suicidal against me and my 22-month-old. He just he was nursing, and I had to care of a lot of things, and the entire district, I told you, was like estranging and alienating us. So I
think one of the things that you have emphasized in your writing and is that also y'all are Orthodox Christians.
Yes.
And so that plays into it in some respects too.
Well, we have reached that far, yes. So yes, we are. It's very different from American, church and all that, but we haven't reached that far. And so it was so offhand. I write in detail. It's a lot of pain, Morgan and Ellen. Yeah. It's a lot of pain. So the nightmare did not start when CPS came in California. The crucifixion, the Golgotha was basically how many years? My son is 8.5, so 8.5 years ago that started. And again, we always defended her. We always stood up for her. But she developed these traumas, her dependency issue, her impressionability, her lack of social ties, because this is the school in Massachusetts. This is what they did. The first and second critical and crucial sensitive years of building social ties, right? and they just nip it in the bud. They just say, you're wrong, and why are you wrong? So, and we are immigrants, despite the fact illegal, right? Or they just, we have nobody, we have no family.
Yeah.
And so I took the kids, we went to Ukraine. My husband got a new job, and that forced him literally to travel across the world. Beijing was number one, and then Vancouver was number two. So I grabbed my both kids. I said, well, but they just it's school district by school district. It's Maynard, Acton, it's neighboring districts, and they basically repeated the same pattern. We were inconvenient.
So you were bouncing around different districts in Massachusetts.
But they're
now,
yeah.
And Massachusetts, I just want to just kind of get the timeline. Is that where your daughter started to have suicidal and homicidal ideations?
After that, 17 year and 18. So she was hospitalized for 11 days. I'm writing about it in this today's chapter. I hope I can finish it today. If not, then tomorrow, about SSRIs and antidepressants, how they work and how they overprescribe, what happened.
No, is she on them, or is she? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
She is on them. And what happened in CPS care is just blatant outrageous, but we haven't gone that far. So I took my kids, I went to Ukraine. As I mentioned, I have no longer my parents. So I went to the west part where his family lives. It's Lvov or Lviv. It's west part. It borders on Warsaw. We call it our Ukrainian Prague or Ukrainian Krakow, like beautiful Gothic. I never had a chance to say no to just couldn't help stopping by at even Catholic temples, which are abundant, because this is like Warsaw. Lviv used to be called Lemberg. Lemberg, it's the Leo's town, which is used to be part of Poland, and it's very beautiful. It's very, it's a little bit chauvinistic. They are really strictly, Ukrainian language, Ukrainian, but it's messy. But at that point in the year of 20, I spoke Russian. It had no problem. I was cordially received. I immediately rented an apartment. I found her school, private school. I was friends with a principal, teachers. They're really wise people. Ukraine is very tolerant. Before Biden's influence upon Zelensky, it was very, we're like, we are minding our business. Just don't come to our porch and do whatever you want to. You know what I mean? Like if you want to do something, gay, lesbian, we never had it. Just do it yourself. Just don't come to my porch, and just don't bother me. So that's like tolerance. That's respect. That's really that's how we are. Well, it's a little different right now because it's becoming really leftist, and we've been not there for 19 years. So just hearsay, right? Mm-hmm. So those years we spent wonderfully, and I don't know, we should have either left her, but it's not about Ukrainian family. We are purely into a family. If you look at my Substack, there is a sunflower and Ukrainian flag, a picture, chapter called Judgment Days we had, and I completely pulled out all the difference between us and Americans, like culturally, historically, linguistically, because we had some allegations about the language. They're just ridiculous. So yes, I could not have simply left her in Ukraine because we are about a family. I could not simply just get her to some facility. Maybe somebody should have advised me to do this. We just wanted to retain the family. We wanted to find some happiness and peace. And we just took her with us and my son. When we had these 10 months in Ukraine, really, she was thriving. I immediately found a chief psychiatrist of Children's Hospital. She was reluctant to work with any specialist because, we had some not really good Massachusetts LMFTs and therapists. So she just enjoyed her stay in Ukraine, some schooling. She thrived academically. She thrived socially. She was making friends. And then COVID hit us.
Yeah.
We got locked down, and she got completely shut down, and she went on Discord.
Yeah.
Anything about it. I didn't know any words like predator, grooming. I knew nothing. She played. She went on Nintendo. Roblox, Minecraft servers. She played, and it sounded innocent. She sounded like friends. So I let it go. The borders reopened. We joined Daddy, who remained in Massachusetts. Then he found a remote job in San Francisco. Again, we knew nothing. The COVID completely messed everything up. It's the entire world, and you see how crazy things were with COVID, with transgender. We're talking about New Zealand, we're talking about Finland, we're talking about Iceland, Ireland, and Australia. It's just the global asylum that's going on. Not only California, right? So we joined Daddy. We sold 2 properties in Massachusetts. Our home we loved. We invested. I planted beautiful trees. Everything just went to other people, because we had to flee from one district to another. We had to buy a condo we hardly lived in. We invested into the remodeling because my husband thought we would leave. We didn't know that another superintendent would be working in the same way. So we just lived as we got by. We're just normal parents. We just cared for our kids' needs. So we rejoined Daddy in Bay Area. We rented a townhouse. It was very overpriced. It was Dublin, Pleasanton area, like townhouse, $3,300. It's kind of, And then my husband says, why don't I go on Zillow? You like Mount Shasta. You're so, into reading and spiritual. You're looking for answers, why your daughter was bullied, why this happened, and he went on Zillow and he found this dream castle in Redding, California, Shasta County. It's, if you look at my Substack, you'll be like in awe, like basically big house with 2 man-made waterfalls, ADU called The Shed, one of the allegations, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, AC, internet, yes, mother's unit, patio, hot tub. Right now we are renting it because we are drained and we are forced out. And what can you really dream of? What can you dream about? And then phone fire, got us evacuated into 5 days into nowhere because that's the wildfire area. Yeah, we knew about it. We knew where we were going. We cleaned it up before the phone fire. After, it was an arson. 2021, it was a Russian lady, a mentally unstable Russian lady who went on a quarry next to the mountains we had, and she just look, and I have hyperlinks into my Substack. You'll be see how insane that went. I think she was drugged as well. So that was a very major Redding fire that really took the majority of our neighbors' houses on the Sunrise Drive where we lived. So we are just one of really few ones that made it. Our houses, if you look at the school chapter in California, you'll be able to see the aerial picture of this beautiful stucco-made home that survived. We just got off with a couple of scratches, and insurance paid it off. And then my daughter started looking into online psychology, testing and psychology website, and she truly and rightfully, she was looking for answers why she was bullied. Why, what was I bullied for? So many moves. And then she got somehow lax, and she got self-tested, and she says, Mom, I need to be tested for ADHD, because that's probably why they just were kicking me out in the hallways and vice principal's office, because the principal never even spoke to us for 2 years. So Mama never said no. Mama lost her 2 parents. Mama got dissolved in her. I really buried my PhD because my daughter was born. I said, yes, I'm devoting my life to this pretty girl. And it's not her fault that she couldn't cope with what happened in Massachusetts. So I put my dissertation on the shelf. It's dusting. It's okay. Maybe the time will come. So I completely devoted myself to, homemaking and my kids. So she got confirmed via a Reading psychologist for ADHD, ODD as an attending, and they said it's normally attending diagnosis. It comes hand in hand with ADHD. Also, MDD, major depressive disorder, definitely depression, anxiety, and PTSD, because bullying, right? So there was basically nothing surprising. She also 33 unhappiness. I wrote about it in Reading chapter. She had and it's not funny, it's just, you know, my distress and my sleep deprivation and this horror that is wrapping up in California and around the globe. She had a head involved incident on a parking lot 2022, just like weeks before Ukrainian war started. There was a parent who just hit our car where our daughter was getting out of it to go to school to make connections. I mean, she did the virtual, she did the remote, but she was craving for connections, and I never blamed her for that. Whatever she wanted, she got it. Got it. And I respected that. I respected her needs. So that's the year of 2022. The MRI says she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. You know, her head was okay. Her right calf, as she was getting out of the rear passenger, you know, right passenger seat, she was like getting out, and some parents started backing up. You know, my husband was unloading her. Her right calf was injured, and her head was like, some pimples in her ears got inflamed. Again, we had follow-ups. We just took care of everything. At the end of 2022, and I'm writing today, and I wrote before, she asked for lithium to be prescribed as a possible solution for her being on edge, being like very negative. She was unhappy, aggressive, defiant, and she literally isolated herself in her bedroom in Reading. She had her personal bedroom, she had her personal bathroom, she never even allowed anybody in. We respected that. She had jacuzzi in that she hardly used. So she was basically always provided with everything. And she said, Mama, I'm aware that this aggression, this negativity, this horrible mood swings, BPD, she got also confirmed for that. Eventually, she asked to be tested for BPD, which is by borderline personality disorder. They don't usually diagnose adolescents, but she was the same doctor who, tested her for ADHD, confirmed, saying that she meets the criteria. I have all paperwork, and I provided it everywhere I could. So, but it doesn't have treatment. You got to do the DBT, CBT therapy, and something that she didn't want to. And then she was looking for a magic pill. Mom, I want lithium because I'm aware that this impacts my family life and my social connections. Find me a psychiatrist. And Reading, I'm writing about it. I wrote yesterday how red is Reading. Reading is very xenophobic, is very rough. It's like, yes, it did vote for Trump all these years, but it's you have, even Americans are complaining that it's very hard to find your niche, your connections. So I was on all these possible moms groups, and even American moms, like new moms, saying, "Oh, it's so hard to find friends. Like let's do like something like." And I tried though. I jumped out of my skin to find offline friends. Lithium. We went to Mercy Medical Center. That's where we usually go for her well child visits. And they say, yes, we have a new psychiatrist. She's so liberal. She's so open. She's so good. You're going to love her. Her name is Dr. Sager. She's amazing. And we saw her February 6th, I guess, 2023. She saw us for a couple of visits in the hospital, in the clinic, and then she self-referred. Some people say it's illegal. She self-referred to the NGO. I want you to remember this name.
Wait now, I'm lost. Who self-referred?
Psychiatrist.
I don't understand what that means. What does it mean to self-refer?
So she says that why we were being seen at Mercy Hospital, and then she says, "Hey, there's a new CLC center, and I'm a psychiatrist there."
Oh, I see.
Why don't you just that's how they worded it, Ellen. It's not my word. It's how Reading worded it. Why don't you just go and see me there? It's a new trauma center. It's new, you're gonna love it, and the scheduling is better. And she self-referred us to this Children's Legacy Center. It's an NGO that is roofed by DA, all school superintendent, was having a chief sheriff, Mike Johnson, as the directors, Aaron Ressner, a local politician, vice mayor, and Sager, and lots of good influential people. And I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't even know. I just trusted this charlatan in white gown, this devil in white gown. And she seemed to, I thought that immediately, no problem, prescribing lithium, and it seemed to be working. And she self-referred us to CLC March 2023. And sometime later, maybe a couple of weeks, but in the same around the same time, my daughter said, Mama, I met someone nice, Mark. He's allegedly 17-year-old boy from Kansas on Discord LGBTQ server, and he's so feminine. I like him. I really want to be like him. At that point, she already started using a unisex name. Her haircuts became like, she had like this blonde hair. It became like this, and then it became like butch haircut.
I think some people watching may be familiar with this. It's Marky Moo. And he's not a 17-year-old boy, is he?
I'll be talking about it when Nelson, social worker, came and took her, because that's how we actually saw her computer and what was running. Yes. So she was calling him Mark. She spent hours talking to him, playing Roblox and Minecraft. And that when she was chirping, I use this word, chirping with laughter, she sounded so happy. And I really did believe that finally maybe this psychiatrist is like our Klondike of solution of problems. And then it seemed that the lithium worked, but it was a heavy duty one. It was, Reading is 110, 116, but it's dry, but it's still like sizzling heat. So you had to, take care of her hydration. You had to take care of her labs. Sager seemed to, monitor her labs. But eventually they switched to Seroquel, which is not better. And she had some dissociative incidents. I'm just writing about it. Wait a couple of hours, maybe I will publish this chapter, like exactly, because it's right mainstream right now. The SSRIs and psychotropes is very trendy. And I really want to get into this. So just a couple of hours and it will be published. So I attribute that Sager probably connected her with Marky Moo. That's the same March, April 2023. And at some point, as I was driving her to some place, because she was basically, isolated in her room, just playing and doing school. And one day we were driving to get some boba tea or something. And she goes, Mama, are you aware that in California, that there are laws that a child can be removed, from the parental care if the parents don't affirm their gender identity? And this word like gender, she was even calling herself trans in 2024. That's the year 2023. So like, baby, I don't know, but I get this goosebumps, this chilly feeling. I'm like, no, baby, I don't know what's going on. She says, but I stand with you guys. And I'm like, okay. So she already used this unisex name, but the year 2024 was a really blatant estrangement year. She stopped going to like Mount Shasta to snow tube with us. California, but for Wiener, Newsom, all these like Becerra people. It's so beautiful. It's like, especially Shasta County, it's like you can get even 4 seasons. So if you want to go to get some snow, you just start and go to Lassen County, and you will get some snow in 50 minutes, and you get some tubes, and you go to a snowman, Eskimo Hill. If you want to go to Shasta, go another direction. Again, 55 minutes, you go to Eskimo Hill and Snowman Hill. You're gonna love it. I have tons of pictures. And she stopped going with us in the beginning. She never even celebrated like Christmas and New Year's with us. It means that she was already, led and navigated. And in April 2024, she started talking separately to me and Daddy, separately, key point, in asking to get a testosterone consent, using that playbook. Or maybe I was just not lucky out to be born in the wrong body. Interesting that Sager never addressed me directly, with that mantra, do you want a dad, a daughter? She never did. She figured that we are a little immune to propaganda from Soviet Union.
Yeah, let me just pause and say, because not everyone is even as far along in this as I am, that is a mantra that so many parents of children who are saying they're trans, the psychiatrists, the clinicians will say to them, would you rather have a dead daughter or a living son? So she did not say that to you, but that is sort of in the air.
She was actually also treating me for my anxiety. I'm writing about it because all that, Golgotha that we went through with our daughter, even before, right? Even before that nightmare that is happening right now as we speak, it ended me with anxiety. So I trusted Sager, and Sager treated me horribly. She tried 5 different antidepressants on me. She probably wanted to make me like a vegetable, to just sign, right? To just sign what they wanted. And upon or after receiving a no, we want baby you to make an informed decision. You are ADHD, you have so many, things you have to take care of. You're only 15. You've got to finish your school, go to college, figure out your career, like normal parents would do, right? But that Sager probably took as a red flag, because at some point she started seeing my daughter one-on-one right after Marky Moo appeared in our life. They kicked me out of the room, and that was one of my major mistakes. I stepped out. I didn't know my rights. I trusted her, and probably that's where the Marky Moo saga, the indoctrination, started. But I didn't know.
So who is Marky Moo?
It's a predator on Discord.
So it's a person that is actually engaging with your daughter on a daily basis.
Morgan, when I saw her computer during the removal, I took screenshots of it. We entered them as proof, as evidence into the court. I had suspicion that it's minimum 2 people talking to her, and one of them being an adult, a very trained adult. The language speaks for itself, and I am, master's in linguistics. So I have those screenshots. And who is a Marky Moo? It's on my Substack. I provided some screenshots and some language and some chronology and some timeline. So you're welcome to check it out. There is
After I read that in your complaint, I went online because I'd heard his name before, but your instinct is correct. I don't think he's a 17-year-old boy. You've got pictures of him. He doesn't look 17. He looks.
So for context, I guess I'm completely in the dark here. Ellen, is he he has social media and he posts about this stuff, or is he like a reoccurring character in other people's stories? What are you?
Oh,
it's a Discord. It's a Discord user.
Discord is it's where
it's a messenger. It's a messenger app. It's a messenger app.
That's where the exchanges are happening, and that's where you said he is, Ellen, where you had seen him prior.
I just went online and just looked up the name. So I've never gone to Discord and but I just just Googled him, and different pictures and different scenarios came up. And so I think that's one of the things these kids are really dealing with, and the parents, is that they go online and people misrepresent themselves, and they have something they want from the child, and the child thinks she's talking to a 17-year-old boy who's effeminate and not threatening, and in fact it's someone else. And so you get into catfishing and that kind of thing, if you know what that is.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah. Okay, so
it's predatory.
Marky Moo is someone that I could Google and find his face, and that's who that is. Alexandra,
I'm not sure if it's the same, Ellen. I think Reddit has. I think it's plenty of Marky Moos. Honestly,
What?
There's plenty of people who use that name.
Marquis, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So if I mean, I
So
think
let's
Who knows? It's all,
yeah.
it's a
so let's kind of, I
mirage.
guess, take it from her being kind of, for lack of a better term, groomed by this supposed Marky Moo.
Yeah.
When you said that this was not to your knowledge, she kind of had you respected her privacy, and then when CPS had taken custody of your daughter, that is when you started to see some of the messages between Marky Moo and your daughter. Could you kind of go into that a little more? Like, what kind of exchanges are there?
Yeah, tell us about that, because, just like you, Alexandra, we don't live in that world.
No,
And we want to have a better feeling for what it is that you actually witnessed, and, that you came to realize that your
it's
respect for her privacy had this shadow side that you were not aware of.
Yeah, it's like
Tell us
secret
about that.
life, and it's more than one probably. So so my daughter plotted with Sager, with psychiatrist, after they received like a blatant no to testosterone. She probably went to Sager, and Sager filed. She called CPS May 29th. And I think that by all chronology and analytics going in my husband's minds, and the data that we received in CPS, it's called delivered service logs. It's like where they fix and mark everything. It's like a channel where they, inject the data, every interaction with a parent that they, investigate or, they deal with. So that basically, I think that there was an interception on the day that Sager and CLC had other plans. Because Marky Moo, when we analyzed like tons of screenshots I took on the day of removal, that he had wanted her to, basically he wanted to sex child traffic her, he wanted to live with her, about which all these interactions, justify and speak about. So what happened?
They're not just like, how you doing, kind of being like in this friendly manner. There is this premeditation plan to meet up, is what you're saying.
It's in between the communication, because so what happened is basically they came too soon. Sager told our daughter that they needed 10 days to react, right, on the referral. They came on the 4th day. So that's why we suspect that, because a lot of things, they just don't fall together, like puzzles don't fall together, especially dealing with the foster care that she went to. There was some incongruence or inconsistency. I just cannot really prove, but I'm trying to. So this lady, and I posted and I sent pictures, it's everywhere, this social worker Nelson came June 3rd with no court paperwork, no police officer, no badge ID. She just came and started accusing me on the porch that I don't affirm my daughter's gender identity. And I immediately had a physical reaction. I have some postpartum issues. I needed to go to the bathroom. It was a bathroom situation, emergency situation. I grabbed my then 6-year-old, my son, I hid with him in the back, and my husband did the major talking. And Nelson showed nothing. She just was provoking physical aggression. She was getting him in circles, talking like, like like Gestapo or something, like provoking. She gave him business card. I mean, everybody can draw business card. You want to talk to my child in private and you give me like a piece of card. And he just ripped it off. He was really stressed, and he was really like a brave lion. I really give credit to him. We have everything recorded on audio and video, and that was presented as evidence. So she basically was waiting for them. She left. She left barefoot. She joined Nelson in her car. Nelson came and hid her car in the such vicinity that in our rural, in our driveway covered with rocks and foliage of the trees that we grow and take care of, we could not see her car. She came as a solicitor, and she turned her car pointing to the exit. Her car was parked that nobody else had parked a car like that. Even the chief, not chief, but deputy sheriff deputy came eventually. And that's how I learned about a male name. He was also talking to me. So Nelson came with no cops, and my husband say, for God's sake, call the cops. I need to have your identity verified. She calls the cops and 8 cops come.
Oh, wow.
And one of them talks to me in the porch, and then he lied about that I was yelling, that I used the words I never use, and we have his report. And again, I write about it. I give a piece of it. It's on the police chapter of my Substack. I write about everything. And he gives me a male name. What's with you? And the case is open, ladies. I cannot say the male name. And I said,
Yeah, no, we wouldn't want you to.
I never heard this name. I've never heard this name. He goes again. I said, who is this person? He says, your daughter. I said, well, my daughter's name is the name. So he took her. He verified Nelson's identity personally. He immediately scheduled a forensic in CLC. He took my daughter. He took her pills. After he kind of verified, we did not have any chance. We didn't have any choice just to let her go. And what I saw made my choice even affirmed. She was not expecting them so soon. She did not even finish packing. She was panicking, and her computer, her electronics, her phone were left on the table, unlocked computer, Discord, an entire instruction how to better, so to say, dig a grave for your parents, how to better file an emotional abuse, how to better leave the house to live with him. He loved her dearly. He gave her like some his mother's cell or something. So she left, but there was a phrase that sounded like Terra Vista, that homicidal, suicidal, hospitalization, flashback, and deja vu that made me say, I go take her. She wrote to him on that day, I have the urge to either hurt myself or my parents, but then they're right on me. And that was like a cold shower. And again, I'm doesn't matter legal or illegal. I'm an immigrant. I have no, and that speaks good about me. I don't have any DCF history. I don't have experience with, yes, we do have social services in Ukraine, but that's like kids are, excuse me, thrown into the, trash, right? Or they're completely neglected, they're eating from the trash, right? So that's how social services work. We don't have that kidnapping. We only had KGB snatching people at night in Stalin or Khrushchev times. So that's even before we were born. So we talked with Nelson, we talked with all of them. We thought they were like normal, healthy human beings, adequate, but they're horrible, cynical robots. They're like Gestapo. They're like SS Nazi, right? And she just took her, and then nightmares started. We never had any alone time with her. We had these horrible visitations, slander, calling us culturally unfit to raise our daughter, like being Ukrainians, being violent and resistant, CPS. To trans her, to send her to mutilation and sterilization. It's 23 months of hell on earth. We got actually the chance, me, to spend 15 hours on a witness stand only 6 months later to testify. We had 3 lawyers that betrayed us, that apparently worked even for us to go to jail. Today I found a very disturbing video of a San Diego mom. She's also ex-Soviet expat, and it's just, that's why I got so late, and that's why I logged on a little later, Ellen.
It's okay.
I cannot what they're doing in California in family court. So it's horrible story. I'll be able to share it with you, but it's just fresh. It's a video, and it just got me completely knocked down and knocked out. So this is what they do. So 23 months of spending $3,100 300,000 insurance on to get her out of the detrimental glitter foster care where she was roomed. Innocent girl was roomed with her classmate. Her
And other people have asked me, what do you mean by glitter foster home?
it's a
I
very
mean, I think I know what
affirming-
you mean, but
yes. It's a very LGBTQ, the very trans term of really, I think it started with the word glisten, and I think Miriam Grossman wrote about it in her book, and that's very Googleable, so that's very affirming. I know that California is, and Oregon and Colorado are very bad, but you know, they force foster parents to affirm, but these people, they got dollars in their eyes, so they immediately.
so how much? I think you mentioned they get quite a bit of money per month, and they had a number of trans identifying kids.
They have 6 severely mentally traumatized kids, with my daughter being one of them. So I think the maximum is either 7 or 6 in California to pack your foster home with. She's the only, well, right now, I don't know what's happening, right? Because I've been cut off. So at that point, when we had good visitation, that September 2024, like a couple of visitations that probably leaked so much information about that glitter foster care that they immediately started switching off severe alienation. And after that, our daughter stopped, even making eye contact with us, taking warm things or gifts, like visitations, you're supposed to bring things. And after that, after she leaked so much, and I write about it, Morgan and Ellen, it's about the glitter and their faces, and AI is so good helping me, do that. And Transhausen is also a lot of information about Maggie. So who is Maggie? Maggie is this sponger. They're not even married. It's the mom I knew of her classmate from the school whose stepdad, Walter Albert, is sitting on the school board that feeds and finances the same school. He is buddies with the principal that affirmed her and groomed her and slandered us and completely, cut off all our parental educational rights. I write about it in my Kahoot section, which is like 6 of them. 6 of them. The mafia is intense and immense. So $1,000 spent only on travel costs, expert fees, 3 lawyers who betrayed us and we fired them. 300,000 on a BNI. It's a treatment center. It's a very luxury teen rehab center. Judge Bigelow, Molly Bigelow, is such a mafia that she never wanted our daughter to go on ICPC or something, which is like interstate, like to go on another rehab. And I was looking for it. I did my due diligence, everything my lawyers told me I did. But Bigelow didn't want to move her out of California. She never wanted to lose control, meaning how bad the damage is. So we paid our insurance through my husband's work, paid $5,000 a day in BNI. Google it, and I write about it. BNI, 3 letters, treatment centers in Calabasas and Agoura Hills in California, South California. They, for our money, you just heard the amount, they immediately, when social worker Zepegi dropped our daughter off February 25, 2025, they stopped talking to us. They blocked us out. They disallowed to us to talk to our daughter and to themselves. They stuffed her with 4 horrible psychotropic, medications, Pristiq, Trazodone, Ritalin for ADHD, and Abilify. So that is.
And what is Abilify for?
Abilify. What's that?
I've heard of it, but I don't.
What is the Abilify? Is it medication?
For? What does it do?
I urge you to Google it. I think it's an amplifier of any other antidepressant, and it's very detrimental. I urge you to. I'm not a pro. I've been telling you this.
Yeah, we don't want to. We know you're not a physician, but we just didn't know if maybe you knew kind of what the medication.
We were coerced into signing it by our lawyers, but can you guess what? After she was dropped off, they immediately starting administrating it without even going to court, without even asking it. Guess why? Because in 2 months or a month and a half, she needed to testify. She needed to be made a zombie. She needed to be suborn perjury, testifying against us. I urge you to read Stockholm Syndrome. I pulled out with AI her all testimonies. You will just get some Twin Peaks movie
Okay.
revelation flashbacks. You will not be able to believe what foster and CPS do. They just rape. She left innocent. She was roomed and eventually bedded with her classmate. 15 years
So,
old.
just to interject, so the classmate is also at this glitter house.
It's
So-
Maggie's son and her classmate from the same school, whose school board member finances the school. It's like cahoots.
So,
And the roommate is male, is a teenage boy. Yeah.
so the roommate is male, and they met at the school. How, you might not know this, how long had he been in this glitter house? This foster care system. Was he
Right.
a part of it prior, to them meeting, and then he, met your daughter?
I
And
write about it, Morgie. I write about it, and I don't know how long Walter and Maggie lived together because they're not even married. I know because I had Maggie's cell. My husband, smart engineer, he was able to track his home report, guys. Drum roll. The house he has a financial issues. He's financially interested. He had a loan for 120K 2024. This year we were able to retrack it. It's 155. He either plays in casino or he does drugs. The home is subject to foreclosure 2026. Excuse me, 6 kids. Foster care license, both of them. So
you're saying, if I followed you, that the man and the woman of the house are not married.
no,
So-
they're not. They're not. They have separate foster care license. They packed their home with 6 severely mentally traumatized kids, including my daughter. This boy is her biological son who sleeps
Okay.
literally with my daughter, sharing bunk bed. Please read the chapter bunk bed with her art, with her picture. I write about it. She was raped because she left innocent at 15. She was started to be prescribed combined birth control 3 months later. 2 months later, Maggie desired to adopt her in a disposition report that had like 70 pages 2 months later. And they've been pushing the forced adoption scheme with alienating, cutting off visit. It's a pattern I was able to figure from other parent victims who are also suing CPS in Shasta County. So I'm supplied with information, but it's just not helping because Bigelow is a mafia. I need to tell you about Bigelow. So if you Google her, she was appointed, not elected. She was appointed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator actor, 2007, right when we entered the US. So she was a DA. Her uncle was a DA. Her husband was a sheriff detective. I write about it because there's so much shielding and corruption and uninvestigated murders in Shasta County. And I was reposting and restacking it. So I will share if you have questions. So basically, she's been
And she's the judge.
She's the
judge.
dependency judge. Read the
Your
judge
case.
chapter. I talk about it.
Yeah.
Rishi rubber stamps anything CPS tosses to her. She accepted the entire detention report without even not checking what language is spoken in the home, without what the shed is. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. They were just Bob's your uncle. They were dead sure that it's gonna work because these two crazy Ukrainians that don't have family, that probably Kamala was going to be, elected. So they just things lost control in 2024, but we showed resistance, and something didn't work, except for we paid almost $500,000. And then February 3rd last year, Bigelow did take off all allegations of non-existent emotional abuse. I strongly urge you to read the chapter called Allegations of Serious Emotional Abuse, 6 minutes of video, and I actually present the court paperwork and all the petitions, how they're striking out, and eventually she took them all, but she never gave our daughter to us. She took 90 days in the summer, leaving us in the limbo, in the dark, to make a decision on disposition, where actually the child is going. And then meanwhile, domestic violence and temporary restraining orders were filed in August with forged signature and handwriting of our daughter, an emancipation petition saying that we did have physical abuse in August. She's saying, having lived with these people for 16 months, previously testifying there was none. And I say to my husband, that's not okay. I'm grabbing my son and I'm leaving the state. I'm leaving the state. Because what Bigelow does, she did not rule on home maintenance with CPS oversight. So she never had a plan to dismiss the case. She literally ruled on our daughter, alienated, raped, intoxicated, tossed, like dropped off at our, threshold. Do what you want to do, right? With all those things that we wrote in Discord, I had the urge to either hurt my parents, right? All that stuff. Oh, she self-harmed twice, at least to our knowledge, in CPS care. She was never moved from those people. So Bigelow never rules in writing till September. CPS immediately pushes to bring her without court order. They just sent emails, and I provided those emails.
Oh.
And I'm like, and DVROs, TROs, mess with courts, with signatures. I take my son and I go into nowhere. And my husband puts the home onto market. He joins me in Florida, right where I am. Look at the conditions I sleep on. I sleep on mattresses. My husband sleep on mattress. My son has a bed. We are hiding. They are hunting for our address. We opened our mouths. October, we kicked out our betraying and treacherous attorneys, and we filed pro se December 25. Our daughter gets kicked out in the same month. And I'm going public. I'm opening up our mouth. I'm just yelling, trumpeting, saying, is this something that we came to this country for, having lived, well, not like physically lived 70 years in propaganda, but
Right.
we
Right.
don't
We
have it.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have it. We never even had this in KGB. We never had it. Kids were not trafficked. Kids were not kidnapped. Parents were not just crucified, and mutilation did not happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Well, Alexandra, my heart goes out to you in this story. This is, it is a shame what the state is doing. And I know that it is heavily pushed by this kind of a political apparatus to try and perceive as progressive or doing the correct thing, but they are clearly doing harm to a lot of people. You are just one story of, I'm sure, a lot. I unfortunately, I could only stay until 9, so I stayed a little extra because I wanted to listen to your story. I'll stay in tune with your Substack, and I encourage you and Ellen to keep talking when I depart here. But I just want to say that I am truly sorry, and we will, be speaking out on these issues and trying to raise awareness of the fact that, from all accounts, you probably, from what you exposed here, you gave your daughter everything that she needed to have a life that didn't have a want or a necessity that wasn't met. So I think those are kind of the thresholds of what CPS should truly be looking out for, as opposed to kind of just this kidnapping is what
This case should never have even appeared in that horrible kangaroo court. But we did try to work with them for the sake of our daughter. They never tried. They never intended to work with us. So I lost my complete. So did my husband. We lost complete trust in judicial system, in court. So whatever we can take out of this wonderful time is just please trumpet about us. Morgan, follow me. I'll follow you back if you are next. I just shared it with you. Please talk about us. Say how, and I write about it, how unique this case is. We are two parents, legal immigrants. With case open, we shout out loud. We don't have a custody conflict, meaning that, there is not one parent for this and one parent for that. So just please, and I urge everybody who interviews me, I went to tons of podcasts, use our case, like take us and bring it to any country, any county, any state, any address, location, household. Please, it's time to take the matter, parents, into our hands. You see what's I'll share Ellen. I'll share Amy Reichert. She's in San Diego. She just, and everybody's already talking about it. What they just passed. So they don't even need our consent anymore, and they have the right to bill insurance in California for just taking off beautiful, healthy organs of our unfortunately mentally fragile and astray kids. We have to put an end to this. And while I last, unite with me, unite with us till it's too late.
Yeah, it's certainly a cause too. And unfortunately, I have to sign off. But thank you, Alexandra, for sharing your story. And I will follow you, and I'll keep in touch with you. And maybe we'll have you back on the show.
Thank you, my dear. God bless you.
Yes, do. If I miss anything on X, just tag me or whatever. We've had a good number of people listening the whole time. And one of our friends said your artwork is beautiful, and it really is. It's very emotional. And
thank you.
At any rate,
I have my free videos on YouTube channel. I don't have a chance to record more. I'm into this because this is my daughter. So it's Kindness for Art on YouTube. I share the basic algorithms of Neurographica. It's called Neurographica. It's neuro. So we deprogram our standardized thinking into something that transforms our thinking and thus our actions and quality of life into something, as you can see, creative and beautiful. No artistic skills needed. I can talk for hours about it. In my Facebook, it's also called Kindness for Art. It used to be Shasta for Art, but then we lack kindness, and thus I created this private group. But please feel free to enter it on Facebook. I let everybody in as long as you're kind, and I don't limit it only to neurographic. It's just something I share, but everybody is welcome to share singing, sewing, knitting, everything you want. It's just a nice and safe oasis of that horrible, sickening and cold shower routine that we are facing outside. So I welcome everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the links will be in the show notes. So when people go and they want to watch it again or watch it for the first time, they'll have the links there. Just thank you again so much for being with us, and we are thinking about you, and I told you I would pray for you and your daughter and your husband and your little boy, and for a good outcome. It's horrible what you've been through.
It's worse, but it's just, we cannot stop. I tell everybody, as long as I breathe, I'll keep fighting for her. The discoveries that are coming up, they're not promising, but I just get reassured and reconfirmed that what we thought, that what our treacherous attorneys were kind of accusing us of, it's conspiracy theory. It's not. It's just that they backstabbed us and they worked against us. And the mafia in Reading, and please read how Red is Reading. I talk about all supervisors and their fans are attacking us and calling us names. I just save everything, but it's not looking good. But what do these parents, have as a choice? Just to keep fighting.
Right. And
Please help
just
us.
for what it's worth, to anyone listening, all the parts that you've mentioned, I've heard from many, many other people. So this is totally plausible, and it's just shocking that this is going on. So I am going to have to end it now. And thank you again, and do stay in touch. And I'm sure we'll want to have you back on at some time. So
Thank you, my dear. A lovely evening to you. God bless your heart and your family. I'm here if anybody needs me. I just posted everything in your chat. Please feel free to share it. I'm here.
yeah, okay, very good. All right, thank you, Alexandra, and we'll talk again.
Thank you, my dear. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. God bless.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Bye-bye. And we will see you next week. All right. Bye-bye. Ciao.